Okay, I'm going to put this in. So if a record player doesn't pick up at the end of the record, it's this mechanism that's in trouble. Here. Okay, we got to make this go in the slot. The slot is the farthest out here, so we'll try to aim it. You can see right here. And then we have to push that piece in a little bit. There it goes. That's that. A little excess grease here. Put some of the excess down here. Okay. Now we need to put on the lock. Okay, now the danger maneuver. Danger because if it doesn't go well, this thing can go flying, and if you don't hear it where it lands, good luck finding it. Very good. Now we're ready to put on the platter and do some speed tests and mechanical tests, make sure everything's working good. This is where we'll find out if the traction in the record player is in trouble. Only after doing all this. Okay, that's a broken piece of my camera from yesterday. Let me just sharpen the focus here a little bit. So I'm going to be the motor. I'm going to turn it like this. I'll pretend to be the motor. This isn't really the best way to do it, but I'm not. But this is what I'm going to do. So we're going to flip this over to just here. I'm going to go auto. What I'm doing, because I'm the one who's turning this, I can feel the back pressure, if you like. Just a little bit there. We don't want this to come down because the needle's there. That would be bad. I'll try to pick up. It's not really the position of this so much as the speed at which it travels right at the end here. So I'll make it travel fairly quickly. It's picking it up, putting it back. Oh, it's trying to play again. Why is it trying to play again? Because this arm is up. Let the arm down. Now the record player knows there's no more records to drop because this is low. It's below the record catch here. Okay, pick up. This time it should shut off. Fantastic. So there's virtually no back pressure here. Excellent. So now we're going to deal with the needle. And we're going to take a look at the condition of it. So let's start. First I'll release this. That's good. So the cartridge that's in here is not the greatest quality, very common, but not the greatest quality of cartridge here. I'm pretty sure this is a ceramic cartridge. And that explains a lot. This whole thing operates as a system here. You have a record player that has a certain amount of rumble because it's a rim drive record player. Rumble is very low frequency. but it would come out the speakers if you let it. So a number of ways in which that's prevented in a machine like this. First one is cartridge can't reproduce those low sounds. That's the first one. Second one is the speakers cannot reproduce the low sound either. And in that way, the rumble is suppressed, mostly from here. The amplifier itself is probably capable of amplifying the low frequencies. So we're just taking a look at the needle with my eye. Can't see too much. Okay, we're going to put this under a microscope and see what the story is with the needle. Pretty sure the cartridge works because I heard it. We're going to find out about the needle now. Okay, so this is a fancy looking microscope, but it's not really. The original microscope's gone from here. I removed it, and in there is one of these USB microscopes, which are actually can be pretty good. It has its own light, as you can see. Now I want to look at the needle, not straight at the point, but sideways. So what I do is I take some sticky tape, stick it like this. Not like that, like this. Stick it like that. Put it under. Now the thing about this is I've got this side, and I can move it like this. So I'm going to roughly aim it. Now we'll start looking through the microscope here. We'll see what we see. Not much at all. A little bit more light. Okay, now I'll try moving the needle into view. Maybe we're way up too high here. Something there. I think that might be the needle. And so I have to raise the platform here. It's out of the range of this microscope. So raising the stage up. Okay. Can we get it into focus? Okay, so a little bit of a problem here in the way I have this arranged. Is the lever is sticking up and striking the bottom of the camera, or the up. We're going to zoom this guy back a little bit. Okay, let's look back through it again and see where we got it. Not too bad. Let's move it around a little bit. So it's looking pretty worn here. Now, so there's a needle we're looking at in the top right. What's going on there? A little more light on it. And the needle on the left. Now which is which? So the more pointed one looks like the one on the right towards the top of the screen, and the other one looks fatter and duller. So which is which? So on the little stick it identifies which is which. Think about this now. If the long playing needle, words showing, would have to be this one here. I'm just going to move a screwdriver into view. You can see that thing moving? That's indicating which needle is the LP needle. So there we are. Now, does it look terrible? I don't think so. Part of the picture is there's a lot of dirt around it. So we're going to try cleaning this and then have another look at it. We get enough dirt piling up around it, I guess, it wouldn't seat properly down in the groove. So this is a piece of Mr. Clean Eraser, which is basically pipe insulation foam. That's where it originated. Nothing special about it. I'm going to use a technique here. I need a little bit of alcohol. Alcohol. And now, don't drag it through this material at all, we just plunge it in and out. Do that a couple times. This is pretty worn out. For obvious reasons, you don't want to drag the needle through it. The needle is actually a tiny little chip of diamond on the end of a cone, some material designed to grip the chip of diamond at the end. So the whole thing you see is not all diamond needle. Okay, let's see what difference that made. I use duct tape here. There we go. Okay, let's see what we can see. See a cloudy sky. Okay, so find the needle in here somewhere. Bingo. I can see a little better what's going on. So my interpretation of what we're seeing here, we're seeing three different things. First, at the tip is the needle itself. There's little bits of Mr. Clean eraser on it. Then you can see it's very much like a triangle. There's a line there, and that is where it changes from diamond to some kind of material shaped in a cone that the diamond has been fixed to. And then that, in turn, is being glued onto the cantilever arm, the big white thing, with kind of a gloppy looking mess. That's what I think we're seeing. I don't think that's dirt. But I'm not sure, actually. I'm actually not really sure. Let's see if I've got a fine enough point to poke at it here. This is tricky business holding this still. No, I'm not going to be able to do this, I don't think. Look at my pointed thing is not very pointed, is it? Okay. Well, the fact is there's enough needle to go in the groove now, I'm pretty sure. Where'd it go? Bring it back. You can look at the 78 needle here too. There are lots of 78 records. The quality of them is surprisingly good. So there's the 78 needle. That's clean as a whistle. Now how come one side would look like that and the other side would look like that? I think that must be dirt and filth. So I think more cleaning is required here. So let the alcohol spend more time on it. Okay, I'm going to use another technique here. I've got a brush. It's fairly stiff bristled. And I'm going to figure out which needle I'm working on. This will be the one here. I'm just going to draw across like this. Basically the same way it goes in groove. what I'm trying to avoid is ripping the diamond needle off. I've certainly seen record players where the diamond part of the needle is missing, and you're playing it with the cone that's remained. Okay, let's have a look at this. See what we got now. And the thing is, even with a terribly damaged needle, you're still going to get sound out of the speaker. Well, isn't that looking a lot better here? I can just get my fingers off the tape. Well, it's coming cleaner. Should carry on and try to get that gunge off of there, I think. Yeah, it's coming along. Okay, I'm going to continue on with the cleaning. Okay, it's just after another couple minutes of cleaning at it. Looks much better. I dipped it in the magic eraser right at the end. You can see little bits and pieces of magic eraser there, which I don't really like. What if I just blow on this at this point, clear off that stuff? See what happened there. Didn't blow much off, but it's much cleaner than it was, that's for sure. Now, what portion of that is going into the groove? It's going to be just the tip part going into the groove. The rest of it's running above. So I think we're in good shape now. I think that's good enough. Any more, and I'm starting to run the risk of doing some kind of damage to it. But the point is that there's a point there. So the needle appears to be good to me. There is another whole technique for determining the wear on a needle like this. And I never had too much success with it. Let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at the needle point up. Point up. Now, okay, so you see there are two shiny spots where the tip should be. Two shiny. If you imagine this needle going through a record groove, and you can get an idea of which way the groove runs by looking at the rest of the arm there, the rest of the cantilever. So you can figure out how the groove is moving. And the needle point doesn't wear off. The sides of the needle wear off near the point. And I believe what we're seeing are two flat spots which are reflecting light. And it just so happens everything is just right for those spots to show up. If you have a perfectly good needle, you'd see a little speck of light right on the tip. So this is indicating some amount of wear, and no surprise there. It's going to have some amount of wear. The theory goes that if those two spots touch, so there's one big spot there, then you've worn the needle too far. So by this estimation, the needle is partially worn, but I don't think it's enough to worry about yet. I don't think so. You get about 1,000 sides of LPs before you should consider changing your needle. About 1,000. And most people never change the needle on their record players because they're just unaware. I have a microscope like this to look at it and all that kind of stuff. There we go. Okay, so the bottom line is the needle's good enough, pretty sure. We're going to now play this record player, play a record, listen to the quality of the sound from it. So taking the needle out is a fairly easy operation. Putting it back in is not quite as easy. Gotta get it under this metal clip here. See how my thumbnail is driving it back? Wow, okay, suddenly it went in. It's kind of a sudden success there. Okay, got the 78 side showing, LP side showing. Great, now I got to arrange some power to operate the record player. And we're going to play a record a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of grease on the overarm shaft. Just go up and down a little bit easier. Again, don't try lifting it like this. No, 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 no. Always reach back. Lift it back here. Always do it that way. Okay. I gotta go find... Oh, I got a record here. I'm going to play a record I'm very familiar with. In fact, right now we're not going to listen to the record. We're going to watch the mechanism operate. But I want a record on there because I want to see it drop the record properly. Okay, so my North American pressing of Atomic Rooster. Now, for temporary power, I've simply hooked it up here. Plugged it into my box there. For no good reason, we'll start out with the dim bulbs in the circuit. This is set to stop. I don't know that it's in an actual stop functional position right now. We don't know for sure. Well, nothing happened at all, so it didn't operate. Very good. Here we go. So first I'm going to put it on to just start to make the motor go. There we go. Speed is 78. We'll let it run at 78 for a moment. The platter cover is off center quite a bit. Now it checks for traction by putting drag on the wheel. Lots of traction. Okay, we're going to put the speed to where it should be, 33. Okay, we're going to check the traction again. There's tons of traction there, tons of traction. So we don't have to do anything to the intermediate wheel, which is very good. Okay, we're going to see now if this works mechanically on automatic. Nope. So we had it on size 10. We'll put it on size 12. Try that again. Now, if you want to play a record that's already down, but you want it to automatically put the tone arm on it, you have to move the overarm. You don't have to move it, it has to be up. So the record player thinks it's holding records on top of here, right on this edge. So it drops low, no record. It will shut itself off. So you can't leave it here like this, it won't stay. But if you swing it over, it'll stay like that. So now I can push auto. Should play the record. We're interested now, is it going to drop right in the right spot? Just looking. Yeah, that was good. There we are. Now the question is, will it pick up? When we do the pickup operation, we'll watch very closely for the record player to slow down and labor under this operation. And move it in really slowly so I'm not triggering it myself. Okay. Hope that's not being picked up, because if it is, this will actually be enough. I have to cut the sound periodically because that's enough to get me a copyright hit. I break it every seconds or so. Okay, it's kind of clumsy what I was doing. Let's see. Will it pick up? Now remember, it's going to move fast. That's fast. And the velocity sensor detects it. Over it goes. Now it's going to try playing it again because it thinks it just dropped a record because the overarm is up in the air. Fantastic. Now if I flip it to stop, it will simply stop. We don't want that. We don't want to stop it, so we don't want it to stop on the record. So I'm going to put this here, flick auto, thinks there's no more record, so it should shut off. Perfect. Perfect operation. Last thing to check, I want to release the clamp here, so I'm going to move this back to start. Is this. Now this is really hard to reach way in the back. Doesn't raise it very high. Doesn't raise it high enough to get over this. You have to pick it up, but it won't reach the record. Now the question is, does it crash down or does it float? Did it crash? I wasn't looking. Yeah, it crashes down. So some record players, you can flip this lever and they'll just float down nicely. Not this one. This one just drops it. So you have to be the guy who does that. So it's much better to lift it. You know, you want to pick another record, song, do that, drop it. Right in the space between song. Fantastic. So skilled. Now, the next thing we want to do, we want to find out if this is the right weight or tracking force, which is the word they want to use. So I've got to fish out a scale to do that with. Now, to do this properly, the tone arm and the needle have to be at their height they would be at if they're playing a record. But you know, this is pretty thick. It's a lot thicker than a record. So doing it like this, I'm not going to give a very accurate result. So I'm going to take the platter off because I haven't locked it on yet. And that should let me get this just a little bit lower. More correct reading. Okay, just drop it on here like this. Why is it up in the air? Because this is up. And there's the number, 0. What's going on with my scale here? Oh, for crying out loud, I've got to. Yeah, okay. Worked better that way, too. That's another important feature. Okay, bring this over. To me, this feels a little heavy, but it is a ceramic cartridge, so it should be running 5 or 6 Gs. Oh, phone's ringing.
A busy man.
I'm a little busy, yeah.
I thank you very much, and it was nice talking with you.
Okay, good luck. You call me back if it stops.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
And I'll check out that tape now.
Good.
To see what the tape is moving. I don't think so. I think everything's shut down. But
okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. That's how my day goes most of the time. People phone me up and say, can you help me with this thing? Now, back to what I was actually doing here. We were weighing this and we were getting a weight. Let me take this off. The weight of 7.5, wasn't it? 7.5. Now, the thing is, if the needle were a little lower, maybe I can do it. It might be quite a bit less, because I think I'm still above the record height here. Let's see if I can get this in here somehow. Okay, I can't read the numbers either. Okay, it's zeroed. Try a little lower, because see, it's the spring is stronger the lower the spring tension gets higher the lower you lower it. Okay, put it there, 7.58. I don't know if I really got it much lower. 7.5 sounds a little heavy, so I'm going to look into that because I can't remember what it should be set to, and then we will adjust that to the a better weight. Okay, just jumped on a random page here on Google, and this is just about exactly the same cartridge right here. And if we look, it gives a vertical tracking force range 1.5 to 6. Wow, that's a huge range. So 1.5 grams is what high quality, higher quality, say a moving coil or magnetic style cartridges use. Six sounds to me like the top for a cartridge like this. So I think if we set it to 5, we're going to be in the right spot. Here's another one. Well, this time they say vertical striking force 1.5 to 3. That's very similar too. These are all quite similar. 1.5 to 3. Maybe we'll try 3 grams. 4 grams. 4 grams. 4. Okay, let's try 4. We'll try setting it to 4 grams. I think that'll do the trick. 1.5 to 6. If you set it too light, it may skip too easily on the record player, or just not be delivering enough vibration up into the cartridge itself. And I don't really know what happens to the sound quality, but let's aim for 4. 4 sounds good to me. Okay, so the setting is this right here. Whoops. This guy right here. You can see it's set up near the higher end of it, so we're going to reduce it here. Let's try it kind of in the middle. In the middle. Okay, and what did I do with my... Who took the scale? Did I go running with the scale? I think I must have run off with the scale in my hand. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Okay, I'll be really on the ball here. Open this up. We realize we get a good enough reading this way. Let's see if I can get the numbers to show. Yeah. So let's see if we can zero it there. What do we got now for a weight? Oh my gosh, Peanut. Really? 6. So we're down to 6, but we're aiming for a little lighter yet. So I will turn this. Doesn't even want to go any further. Oh yeah, it's moving a little bit. Okay, let's try that. I've got a cat that's upset at me. Let's pick it up, drop it down, pick it up, drop it down. 4.7. We're getting towards the higher end of the scale. We'll go a little further. Okay, drop it down. 4, that's where we were aiming. Okay, well it's definitely a lot lighter. Let me check it now with the human touch here. That feels pretty good to me. That's the final test. Okay, next thing is I must play with my cat. He's staring at me there. Peanut, what is it you're after? Lap time? Lap time? Food? Spring. He wants spring to come. That's really what he wants. He's asking me, can you make spring come? Wow, it's not spring outside. It's minus 7 or 8 right now, going down to minus 14. And snow and other misery is coming. But next thing, we're going to play a record here. Okay, Peanut, I'm coming, man. I'm coming. So all that cat screaming was about his food bowl having not enough food in it to cover the bottom of the bowl. And if he can see the bottom of the bowl, he gets distressed through the food. Okay, so now I have to hook this up. I'm going to hook this up into my audio system here so we can listen to it right on the video, which I didn't do. Got to do that. Okay, now next thing to adjust is the anti-skate, which should be set to the tracking force, or should match the tracking force. That's how these usually work. And look, it's set right around 4, which is the tracking force I have on here now. So this is fine. So that's it for that. Okay. You know what? I gotta clean this record. Son of a gun. Well, I've got 2 nice record brushes. Got this anti-static record brush with very fine brush, and then I have the classic disc washer. This is mine. I bought this when I was in college, for crying out loud. So the nap is tilted on here to dig out the dirt, basically. So we want this spinning, but I'm going to spin it by hand. I think that's the best way to do this. Is it really? Maybe not. This has got a strong. This guy's strong, so let me just put the power back on. I'm just going to move this to start. Do not want to trigger the auto function. On a weak record player, you can't do this. It'll just grind the record to a halt. But this one's not weak. Okay, theoretically, that's a clean record now. I'll put my headphones on. I need to listen to this with you because levels are a challenge here. We're going to hit this to go. And again, I can only play about 8 seconds, and then I have to interrupt it somehow. Or else I'll get a copyright hit for doing this. I'm very familiar with this record, so I know what it should sound like. What are we looking for? We're looking for left and right channel balance. Both channels are working primarily. Left and right channel balance, and that the sound is the same in both channels, and just sounds good. So first time listening to it. Here we go. I'm also gonna kill the microphones here to get rid of all that noise. So we're only hearing the record player. So here we go. That's all it takes. It sounds excellent. Excellent sounding. So we're going to do this. Let it turn itself off. I could also tell the speed was correct enough. Last record player I did, oddly enough, the 33 speed was a little slow. The other speeds were correct. It's a very odd situation, but this one seems fine. Excellent. So we're done on the record player here. Now it's time to start working on the receiver amplifier, and great. That's gone really well. So thanks a lot for watching, and tomorrow it's the start of the receiver work. Bye.